this is Amy Phoenix with peaceforparents.com. This month I'm going to discuss appreciation and entitlement. I had a question from a mother asking about how can I get my kids to be more grateful. It seems like I give and give and give to them, and they don't express any appreciation for anything I do, and I feel really frustrated about that. And I can relate to your frustration. It is frustrating to have a big heart for your kids and the result be that they seem like they're not grateful. There's a few different points that I want to cover in this discussion. First, children can express appreciation in other ways besides saying thank you. Sometimes a kid might light up and just really seem happy about something that you give them, and that's expressing appreciation without saying the words that we're used to in our society. However, it's important for us, in some families it's very important, to share what you would normally do in a situation if someone gives you something. And a lot of parents want their kids to know that you're supposed to say thank you. At the same time, encouraging somebody to say something if they don't feel grateful is going to set up like a mixed message for the child. So there's some benefit in doing some role playing and talking about things with the older children so that they can really express genuine appreciation and not just be saying it and not really mean it. However, at the same time, sometimes people receive things and they might not really like it, but they can still express appreciation for the effort or the thought that was behind the thing. And that's important too. That acknowledges that just the basis for the relationship that they have with that person, really, whether it's an acquaintance, someone they don't even really know, or someone that's a family member. It kind of keeps that tie together in that way. So, in the moments where you question whether your child is appreciative, if the child is like at the age of reason where they're able to discuss things back and forth, it kind of depends on the child of what age when that will be, but it could be 7, it could be 10, it could be 4 for some kids. Anyway, you can ask them if they feel grateful, and children that have had these conversations with their parents, or if this is something that you normally converse about, they are going to be able to tell you whether they feel grateful or whether they feel happy or they like something. And then ask them to share that and say the way that we share that with each other, that good feeling and that appreciation, is by saying thank you. And it doesn't have to be a heavy thing like you must say thank you to Aunt Molly for getting you this. That just kind of destroys the whole purpose of it, because really Aunt Molly wants to know that the toy or the whatever was appreciated and that the child will have fun with it. And you can't control all those experiences. Sometimes children will not have fun with things, or maybe it's something that you don't want them to play with. But you can still express appreciation and talk to the child about doing that. Another aspect of appreciation in the family is whether the parents are appreciative of life, of their circumstances. If a parent is grumbling a lot, or complaining, or depressed, or angry, and they really don't have a model for what appreciation looks like in their life, they might not naturally express it. And that's something to really look at, because it can be really easy to get in a humdrum attitude about life and about parenting. And there's always something to appreciate. I'm sitting across from my father-in-law right now as I make this recording, and I would imagine that he would say, and he has some challenges in his life, and so am I, and so is probably everybody listening to this. The point is that you can find something to appreciate. There's something of value in everything, even if it's hard for us to find initially. And so writing lists of what you appreciate, posting those lists, writing down things every day that you appreciate about your children, about yourself, about your home, about your job, about your area that you live in, any of these things. You can do it any time of day. You can write a list. You don't have to write a list. Sometimes writing a list can help you really see what is good in my life. What am I happy about? What can I be happy about? And it's contagious. You'll notice that if you really have a genuine spirit of appreciation, you really feel thankful or grateful, that you can share that with your children, you can share that with other people, and they'll feel it, and they'll want to feel the same way, and they'll notice what they can appreciate about their life, or they'll notice that something they felt really upset about maybe they don't feel quite as upset about it because they can see it, a different perspective on it. So we've talked about that children may express appreciation in different ways, and for us to be able to accept and work with children where they're at and not necessarily assume that they're not grateful because they don't say thank you. And we've talked about modeling appreciation, how important that is, and how that is something that you can start when they are pre-verbal. You can start it in pregnancy if you want to. And you can start it when you have adult children. It's never too late to start appreciation and to find out the difference that can really make in your life. Third, I mentioned entitlement when I talked about what this was going to be all about. And sometimes kids get into a situation where they feel they're entitled to things. Now, a little child is not going to have a conscious thinking process about, I'm entitled to this, I deserve this, I should get this no matter what I want. It's kind of just human nature in a way to want certain things and feel frustrated when we don't get them. And parents who felt like they didn't get enough can sometimes try and overcompensate for what they didn't get and give their children everything. And it can create a really interesting experience of entitlement for that child, where the child is stuck. They want stuff, they get stuff. It's not really fulfilling because stuff isn't fulfilling. And there's always going to be a desire for more stuff. It's not that desire is bad or wrong. It's just that they can get in a rut where they feel like they want, they get, they want, they get, or they want, they don't get, and they feel like they should have it, and they don't have the experience of wanting, not getting, but knowing they're okay anyway. It's like, I want it, I need to have it. The parent maybe is uncomfortable with the child being frustrated, so tries to fix that. Oh, well, maybe we can get it next time, or, you know, I'll do this, I'll go to the store and get that, or all these other things, trying to fade the fact that the child is going to have experiences from now until death where occasionally they are not going to get what they want, and that's okay. It's not that you need to create those experiences for them to have an experience of not getting what you want. There's going to be plenty of those. It's nothing that parents need to manufacture. It's just to be aware of this sense of I'm entitled to have this no matter what. And when a child feels like that, like I said, they're really not fulfilled. So some things you can do is just pay attention in yourself when you don't really want to get something for your child or to do something. Now, there's a balance here, because sometimes there is a surrender to the role of parenthood where you got to do something that maybe you don't want to do initially, and you can feel into that and see, okay, I don't really want to make dinner tonight, but I'm going to make it because everybody needs to eat. You know, that's a silly example, I suppose. That's different than going to the store and them saying, I want some Cocoa Puffs, and you saying, no, not today. It's okay for them to feel frustrated for a few minutes, and you can say, you know, demanding and whining isn't going to get it either, but we're going to move on and we'll get something else, or just say no and stop there for a minute. It's okay for our kids to accept no at times, and when they have the opportunity to do that and they're just allowed to feel what they're feeling, feel the frustration for a few minutes and come back around to life will be okay, they can come back to just being appreciative of life. Because when they're stuck in a frustration rut of like, I want this and I can't have it, and then the parent is upset that they're upset, it can get into a very uncomfortable cycle for everybody. So those are some 3 factors to consider when you are really wondering about appreciation and how to encourage it more. I would first start with modeling, and then you can have conversations with the older kids about how people appreciate that you express appreciation by saying thank you. And with little kids, if a little kid is getting something, you can just lean over and whisper in their ear, say thank you. And it's not that you're forcing it, it's just showing them the ways of the world. Thank you.